Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton's Communications Department. And today we're going to get you ready for voting because there is an election coming up. My guest today is the Registrar Tara Morgan.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome, Tara. First of all, you are new to the Registrar's chair. You've been a deputy for a number of years. So Tara, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been with the Registrar's office for 8 years. I was the assistant to Terry Kyle.
Who was wonderful, by the way.
Yes.
And she was in there for just ever and ever and did a great job.
Yes, she did. She was very good to me and showed me the ropes and made it a lot easier when I did take over. I started May 1st as registrar. This will be actually my second election. June was my first, which was the primary.
It was a primary, right.
Which was a good one to have for the first time.
Yeah, it's nice to start small.
Yes, it was. So, we're ready, and I think everything should go smooth.
And this will be not a big election like presidential, but relatively big. So on the ballot we have the gubernatorial is probably the biggest draw and the one certainly getting all the TV ads. What else is on the ballot? We have governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and in Hampton we have a contest for sheriff.
Yes.
What else will surprise me because I'm not always informed and get there, and there's always something on the ballot that I forget is going to be there.
Well, we have the House of Delegates this time, and we have the 91st, 92nd, and 95th districts. The only one that is really a race is Mamie Baycoat and John Bloom for the 95th House district. So.
No constitutional issues, or those are the ones I think that trip people up a lot.
Yes, no, nothing like that. So.
Okay, so we'll go to the polls next week. Poll hours are
6 a.m., 7 p.m.
Okay.
Is when they close.
Now, a lot of states get attention because they have early voting. Virginia doesn't really have early voting, but there are some reasons people might want to vote absentee ahead of Election Day.
Yes, we have absentee voting, and so there has to be an excuse that you will not be able to come in and vote on Election Day in person. A lot of them disabled, and if you're going to be out of town, if you work more than 12 hours.
Certainly I know that a lot of the police and fire folks do that because they don't know what they'll be doing on Election Day, what that shift
emergency
is.
Respondents.
And they can come by. How do you vote if you need to vote absentee in person? I always did it by mail, like when I was in college.
You can do it by mail.
It's probably too late now.
No, actually, you can come in request it through October 29th is the last day that you can request an absentee ballot by mail. So that's probably before we're actually
on the air.
Yes.
So at this point now, if somebody needs to vote, what do they need to do if they're voting absentee?
They need to come in, they have to have their ID.
And tell them where your office is, because that's a little tricky.
Yes, we're at 1919 Commerce Drive. We're located off of Coliseum Drive. There's a Red Roof Inn on your right. As soon as you pass the Red Roof Inn, there's a street called Convention Drive. And you follow that straight back to Pinewood Plaza building. It's a 4-story white building with green tinted windows. And we're on the second floor, room 280.
Okay. And what are your hours?
8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. We are open the last 2 Saturdays before the election from 9 to 5.
Okay.
And that is on October 26th and November 2nd.
All right. So that if we're airing probably that week right before the election, so that'll be that Saturday. People can still come vote absentee.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
what IDs or what information do people need to bring when they go to the polls? Because I know this has been several years in Virginia, but people don't always remember.
Yes, you can bring your voter card. It's just one ID. It does
if you
not
can find it.
Right. It does not have to be photo ID.
Right.
The voter ID card, your driver's license. You can bring a utility bill, but the utility bill has to have the address that you're registered at.
Right.
You can bring an ID from the governor, like if you work for the government, you can use that. A college school ID.
Okay, so there's a lot of different options there. Certainly most people have a driver's license or state-issued ID, but not everybody does, so there are some options. And you have a full list on the city voter registration website, and also you link to the state Board of Education.
Yes, the www.sbe.virginia voter.gov.
Okay.
That has all of the information that you need to know.
And I'll also note on the city's website, under How Do I, the voter registrar is right there, under city government, under living. I mean, we've put it there so people can find it. Do you get this last minute panic where the week before the election, people call you and say, oh, I forget where I'm supposed to vote. Oh, I want to just double check to make sure I'm registered.
Yes.
What district, what House district am I in?
Yes, and you can get all that information on the state board website as well. And that's a good tool to have, so that way you're not waiting to the last minute and you know what precinct and you know the address is correct where you're registered. The last date to change any information was this past Monday, the 15th.
Okay.
So if you've moved, you cannot change your address. You can still vote as long as you moved since the last general election, which was in November.
Okay. So you feel like you guys are ready for the election. You've got enough ballots. You've got your staff in place. You're ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
What tends to trip people up on Election Day? Is it crowds? Is it parking? Is it, what are the hurdles that voters sometimes have?
Well, the crowds, usually it's busy, before work, after work, lunchtime. So if you don't work and you're able to come in between midday, mid-afternoon is probably the best time not to have to wait in a line. We don't usually have long lines. We usually are able to push them through, but when they do have, when they first open, there is a bit of a line.
And especially in presidential years, not typically in other elections when you don't see quite
Right.
and unfortunately, but you don't see quite as many people going to the polls because
Right.
people should exercise their right to vote. It's, that's what we're based on,
Yes,
the democracy.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else you need to tell us about the election, Tara?
Yes, if you do not bring an ID, you used to be able to sign a paper
Oh, that's right.
stating
Yeah.
who you are. Now you would have to vote a provisional, and then what will happen is you have until Friday by noon to bring in your ID. And
To your
vote,
office.
Yes, and your vote will count.
So but that's a pretty big hurdle for folks. And so I think reminding them just to bring that ID
Yes.
and to be prepared would save them a lot of time and hassle.
Yes, it would.
All right, thank you for that. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
Well, can I ask, and I know this is really not at all related to the election, but people are going to see you and go, oh, she looks familiar, and it might not be from the registrar's office, because we see you at the baseball field an awful lot.
ma'am.
You are like the first lady of the Peninsula Pilots. Is that true?
Well, the second, my mother-in-law,
That's true. We have to
Sue
count
Morgan.
Sue.
She's
Absolutely.
Yes, and she does a lot over there.
She does. She's a little less visible sometimes. She does, though, work so much with the players and the field and all
She
the
does a lot of
behind-the-scenes stuff.
yes. So, yes, my husband, who's a wonderful guy. He is the coach there as well as the vice president of operations.
So you're very busy.
Yes.
You have election seasons and baseball seasons and kind of a crazy life, I'll bet.
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot of baseball, but we love it. So,
And both of your kids are involved in baseball, right?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, Tara, thank you so much for coming by. And let's give the phone number you want people to call if they do have questions. Obviously, if they go to the website, they can answer the questions themselves really quickly, but some people may not be able to do that.
It's 727-6218
Okay.
is the number you can reach us, and we're open 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday.
All right, and Election Day is...
November the 5th.
See, I wasn't even going to remember the number there. I know it's the first Tuesday, so November the 5th, polls are open,
6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
6 a.m. to 7 p.m. All right, thank you,
All right,
Tara.
thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching. I hope you are prepared to vote. Know the poll hours, and don't forget to bring your ID. Thank you for watching.